Hey man, why you text me from here when you can just yell at me in my office? What are you doing in there?
So we're looking at a different possibility from cutting the frame.
What do you mean? It's just, everybody splits frames. I mean, it's how it happens.
I know, but what if we can keep the integrity, keep the second fuel tank, and just move the wheel well?
What do you mean?
So what if we cut the wheel well square so it stays square? We're not moving this trim ring. What we're doing is we're cutting 14 inches of the square and just moving it over and taking this 14 inches and moving it back into the front and just moving these end caps.
You know what? I had a guy here one time, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that said he was gonna do that on my Dodge truck. And he failed miserably, like a really bad failure. I had to send the damn truck to Dodge to get him to fix it. So that is an okay idea, but you got all these ribs, you've got that body molding piece.
Right, and that's why we would cut this 14 inches section as a straight piece and then just move it to the front. Instead of trying to move the wheel well and cut circles and then trying to get all this bead rolled back in, we're just keeping this section and just moving it. So all your body lines stay the same, and then these end caps just move.
The new chassis is shorter than the old one,
The
right?
new chassis is shorter in the back, but the wheelbase is 14 inches longer than the old chassis.
Won't it look a little bit stupid?
No, I thought it looked stupid before because the wheels were so close together. I think the extra 14 inches would.
So you just want to move it back?
Just move it back 14 inches. So we're talking a foot plus some extra.
See, it's almost like you have to go with the rivets though and drill them out and then move it. You can't just go cutting and you got to take everything off and then you've got all these body lines.
Well, so we're not cutting that much. We're just cutting here where we can cut it flat. Wherever we can cut this flat is where we're going to cut, and then we're just moving it over.
But you're inventing work because stretching that is easy. This and getting both sides exactly correct and dealing with the rivets and the body line.
But it was just an idea. We're trying to keep as much of the chassis, and that would give us the second
I mean,
fuel
I like
tank.
the idea of the wheels being a
little bit farther back.
It would look sexier.
Because this back half would just end up being right here. So it's not like the whole wheel well would be in the back. And that way we're not cutting drive shafts, we're not adjusting our parking brake cables and or brake lines and or anything. We're just leaving it how it ran. We know it works this way.
You're saying that this, which isn't even right now.
It's not, it was this morning. Right about there.
And you're saying move it back.
14 inches.
Ish.
It's 14.
Ish. I mean, you still got flex of tire, you still got all kinds of stuff.
No, we're going off wheelbase. We're going off from center of spindle to the center of the axle on both chassis. It's 14 inches. That includes the wheels and tire size.
Okay, so this is exactly the same. Where are we putting generators and
so what we would do,
diesels and?
The generator would end up going in the back side of the frame and hanging off this way.
It wouldn't have enough room. You've got travel of springs here. You're saying this is going to stay the same?
No, from back here, yeah, this is going to stay the same. We also have to add extra to the back half of this frame. Regardless, we have to add extra. We're adding a lot less if we do it this way. And then the generator would hang off the side of the frame here, underneath the body.
I don't know, man, because that is a lot of work to get done on both sides of the truck perfect. If it was me, I'd stretch this to match, because this is one or two measurements, one cut, back together. That's 16 cuts on each side.
So you're cutting this much out, right? That's taking this gas tank out. That's sending this drive shaft out. That's it. That's shortening this. And then when we get, if we're gonna bag this, okay, the guy that did your other thing, that was a Dodge truck. This is mainly flat.
No, it's not mainly flat. It's got all those body
but
curves.
we're not trying to reshape it. We're just scooting it over. We use the piece that we cut out, put it in there. It would be a lot better as far as the integrity of the frame. The ride would be better.
And then you don't lose the frame warranty. We can go either way.
But
We can go your way or.
But we'd have to do away with this gas tank.
I hate decisions.
Well, then stand back and let us do it.
What's behind this metal?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The floor.
Looking at it, plastic. It just scoots over.
So, can you stay under the floor?
So these wheel wells would just get screwed down.
I know, but see, you can feel the floor right here.
Right.
Can you stay under the floor?
Yeah, that's the plan is to stay within this right here. So
How are you going to mimic this body line?
That body
You're
line is
just-
staying.
You're cutting it out. You're just scooting it
We're
over.
cutting it in the flat part.
I know, but then when you weld onto it, you're going to be building up. You're going to have to bust down.
But it's grinding and Bondo. Dude, and
No
we-
Bondo.
Oh, panel bond, then. But we got to do other Bondo or body work on it anyway.
Right.
But it's this piece.
Okay, but when we move this back, now we've got that piece is weird.
No, so we'll take and yeah, you're right. That would be weird.
You're going to have to add or delete.
We would have to overlap that rub rail,
Yeah. Well, these are the same.
or we go with a new rub rail.
Well, yeah, but then you got to come in here and you got to drill out all these rivets.
No. If you cut here, you can weld.
You'll never get that body line the way I want it.
Oh. We can.
This is why we're running this
We know
past you,
professionals.
because you're thinking about shit that we don't think about. Because you're right.
This would save a ton of time.
It
Yeah.
will not save time. This invents more time.
No.
Oh, that's more time than stretching
Oh.
a frame.
I will bet a week's salary.
You don't make enough to make a bet. Anyways,
Okay, lunch. Okay, well get inside and look at that fender well. Okay, so if the tires are gonna be a little bit smaller, you flatten that fender well, you got more leg room for the people that are gonna be in it.
Because that wheel well is huge.
And I'm telling you, that 14 inches will add a lot of ride to this thing. I know. Did you ride a school bus?
Yeah, one like this.
The one out here when we.
no, I had to ride the school bus until Missy Patterson started taking me to high school in her Mustang 2 hatchback. Damn it. I got to think on this for a minute.
Look,
I really did.
get down here. Look, it's a lot simpler than cutting a frame.
You
got
think
to
it
expect-
is.
yes,
You think
I
it
do.
is, but you're changing the structure and you got several different, you
You're
got these
doing the
body
same thing with that.
moldings, you've got.
It's not that difficult.
I'm neutral in the situation where it goes either way.
Whose idea was this? Phipps's?
No, we've all looked at it. We were all standing here looking at it.
Y'all let this old cripply ass man talk y'all into some freaking shady work.
That's why the old man's here, is to open up to new ideas.
I got to think about it.
Okay, we'll let you think.
Okay. You better measure 1,000,000 times and cut once. But I agree with keeping the chassis integrity intact, and I like the sexiness of it being moved back.
Okay.
But I think you're inventing some problems that we don't really need, but it will look better. So if it's better for the customer and it's better and sexier, get after it.
All right, so Phipps is getting the inside cleaned out and getting all the rubber off the floor and getting all the wheel wells open so we can see what we're working with. And then me and Kenny have marked out the one side on where the wheel well we're gonna cut, and we're gonna use this side as a template, hopefully, for the other side. That way we can get our measurements straight on both sides. So here goes nothing. We're gonna cut it up. Let's hope it works. right, so what we've done is cut a big ass hole in the butt first, but what we did is we cut our section of our wheel well, then cut our section that we're gonna install in the front of the wheel well now since we're moving the wheel well back. And then right now at the moment, me and Kenny are working on getting this inner fender lined up so that way we can put the inner fender back in before we put all this back up, because once we put this back up, we won't be able to get to any of that. So once we do that, we'll be able to tack this up, get it where it's supposed to be, and see what it looks like, and then we'll attack the other side, and hopefully by tomorrow at this time we'll be done with fenders. Right. Right, just loosening these up and then getting them fucking squared up. We'll be in good shape. Alright, well let's figure out where we need to hack the floor out. That way we can get in here and make some braces.
Cleaning off these areas, get these spot welds out of here, that way we can put this back in underneath, then cover everything up, be good to go.
Alright, so me and Kenny got it all fitted up kind of where we want it. We're going to do the last little fit and finish, and then we're going to tack it all in, and should be like it never happened once we throw some paint on it, so we'll see. Alright, so I think Phipps has got all the bolts out of the dash, hopefully. And me, Kenny, and Phipps are going to grab it all, and hopefully we'll have a dash out. Let's go.
Alright, so what's up? You ready to cut this thing?
Yeah, I think we're ready to cut it. So we're gonna get this firewall off. We're gonna leave a little extra so we can combine the two, so we'll bolt up on the body. And,
So we're gonna go back with a combination of the firewall that was in the truck with this front good, so we can bolt it up exactly the way it's supposed to be.
yeah, that gives us a lot of less cutting to do and fabricating to do, because that's already ready to go, bolt back up. So we can just fabricate these two together. And then all of our wires and everything have the original hole.
Have you measured twice and cut once?
We're overcutting, so we have extra.
Alright, get it.
So I think there's a heat shield under here, and I think we're just gonna have to saw all the rest of it off now that we got the first cut done. So once they're done with the forklift, we'll probably put the cab up and do that with the sawzall. Otherwise, we'll bend the blade on the cart.
So basically, it's hot and humid today, but it's almost time to turn on the air conditioners out here in the old shop, but let them sweat it out for a little bit longer. We've got the bus torn down and the wheel wells moved. We've got the 5500 torn down, and we're in the process of just putting it under there for the first test fit, make sure where we want to put the firewall, and make sure we got all our math right on trimming and cutting and throwing stuff away. So we're fixing to see.
So right now we're going to slide the chassis underneath the bus to kind of get our fitness for the firewall. I want to make sure we're getting the firewall in the right spot on the chassis and on the bus, so we don't have issues later on when we go to put it together and we're cutting everything up that we already welded. So right now it's going back underneath on day 3 a little early, but we have to do this to make sure it's right. So, and this chassis ain't light either, so.
You're looking a tad bit tired there, man.
Yeah, it's been a long day. We've done a lot of work. Tractor's right there. I'm doing that.
So I gotta tell you, new crew, first big build, and when I say big, this is the biggest build we've ever tried here at Gas Monkey, and we've already stripped down both trucks. We actually ended up body modifying the school bus and moving the arched wheel wells back so that we could accommodate the actual length of the chassis from the 5500. And the reason we decided to do that, at first we were going to shorten the chassis, and we just think it looks better and it's got a little bit better dynamic, especially when we get those big wheels and tires under it. So I'm pretty stoked on what it's gonna look like, and now I'm gonna go see it. At least in Mako form. Oh, and by the way, 3 guys, 3 days. We're technically already putting the truck back together.
What you think? It's not everything's exactly centered up, but it's really, really, really close. Mine does kind of like the fender. You want to see that? We can throw
Are we gonna have any problem with the length from here to here on that nose piece? No, we're good.
We're gonna make it all work. Because we're pushing the firewall farther back than the original one, so we'll have plenty of room. They'll end up being the same.
Yeah. I'm in with.
Oh yeah.
That looks small.
The only thing you might have to do is relocate the PCM to PCM, but that's okay.
Okay, so let me get over here. I mean, do you think it's front to back, or you think it's just close?
I'm gonna bring my weight in the morning. We'll take the body in the center of the wheel well, and we'll get that axle lined up perfectly. But we're really, really close to the center.
Man, we got a lot of wheel well to fill up. Is it gonna go down? We're not going down because we need the space for people.
Correct. So if we do end up doing anything, we can go Kelderman and we can adjust the ride height.
Yeah, but you don't want it.
Right, you don't want to lean in the back part of
You
the
don't want it.
window.
What is that state that does that? Carolinas?
Yeah, the Carolina spot. They actually test a lot of this.
If you want it to look lower, Richard, we could just put a skirt.
We could, but
It'll look weird.
Didn't you want like fender skirts anyway?
no, we're not going to skirt like that. But we're going to put big wheels and tires on it. And you're going to lower or change the suspension height, right? We're just not changing the floor height.
Right.
Okay. Freaking badass. Look at my little team here. 3 days.
We do still have about 1.5 to 2 inches down in the front. We're sitting on a cross member. We have to cut out one of the braces in the floor
Hey, we're like
to get it low enough, but we're
Hey,
real close.
25%.
I mean,
3 days?
that's 3 days
3 guys.
with 2 millennials and an old dude. And we're literally in the mock-up stage already going back together.
Yeah, we should have a firewall in hopefully tomorrow.
That's
sitting on the
really
frame.
bitching. And that's normal work days, guys. It's not even 6 o'clock. They're getting out of here on time. That's really freaking cool.
Beer time?
Sure, Phipps, you can have a beer 15 minutes early. That's gonna be badass, man. That was the right call. Not shortening the chassis. I like it.
It looks better.
It does look better. The dude with the camera almost fell.